5 Minutes Peace by Jill Murphy. The children were having breakfast. This was not a pleasant sight. Mrs. Large took a tray from the cupboard. She set it up with a teapot, a milk jug, her favourite cup and saucer, a plate of marmalade toast and a leftover cake from yesterday. She stuffed the morning paper into her pocket and sneaked off towards the door. "Where are you going with that tray, Mum?" asked Laura. "To the bathroom," said Mrs. Large. "Why?" asked the other children. "Because I want 5 minutes peace from you lot," said Mrs. Large. "That's why." "Can we come?" asked Lester as they trailed up the stairs behind her. "No," said Mrs. Large, "you can't." "What shall we do then?" asked Laura. "You can play," said Mrs. Large, "downstairs, by yourselves, and keep an eye on the baby." "I am not a baby," muttered the little one. Mrs. Large ran a deep, hot bath. She emptied half a bottle of bath to foam into the water, plunked on her bath hat and got in. She poured herself a cup of tea and lay back with her eyes closed. It was heaven. "Can I play you my tune?" asked Lester. Mrs. Large opened one eye. "Must you?" she asked. "I've been practising," said Lester. "You told me to." "Can I, please, just for 1 minute?" "Go on then," sighed Mrs. Large. So Lester played. He played Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star 3.5 times. In came Laura. "Can I read you a page from my reading book?" she asked. "No, Laura," said Mrs. Large. "Go on, all of you, off downstairs." "You let Lester play his tune," said Laura. "I heard. You like him better than me. It's not fair." "Oh, don't be silly, Laura," said Mrs. Large. "Go on then, just 1 page." So Laura read. She read 4.5 pages of Little Red Riding Hood. In came the little one with a trunk full of toys. "For you," he beamed, flinging them all into the bathwater. "Thank you, dear," said Mrs. Large weakly. "Can I see the cartoons in the paper?" asked Laura. "Can I have the cake?" asked Lester. "Can I get in with you?" asked the little one. Mrs. Large groaned. In the end, they all got in. The little one was in such a hurry that he forgot to take off his pyjamas. Mrs. Large got out. She dried herself, put on her dressing gown and headed for the door. "Where are you going now, Mum?" asked Laura. "To the kitchen," said Mrs. Large. "Why?" asked Lester. "Because I want 5 minutes peace from you lot," said Mrs. Large. "That's why." And off she went downstairs, where she had 3 minutes and 45 seconds of peace before they all came to join her.
Hi. So this week I read a story called 5 Minutes Peace, and it's all about an elephant family and a mummy elephant that would just like some peace and quiet. So if you haven't had a chance to watch that, you can head over and watch that. And today we are going to do a bit of reading and a little bit of spelling, all based on the E digraph, the E grapheme. And unfortunately, those elephants have made a big old splash and sunk the E graphemes in the bath. So let's have a little look. So in the splash marks of each of the words on the page, there is an E grapheme. Now, a grapheme is the way that the sound is written. So all of them make E, but they're written in different ways. So there's EE, EA, Y, EY, split digraph E, where there's another sound that comes in the middle, an E by itself, and then EI and IE. So let's have a little look through those words and see if we can work out which ones, maybe using the little grid at the side to help us, might go into each one. So let's start with the word beach. B-E-Ch. E. The E is in the middle of the word, and generally if it's in the middle of the word it is either EA or EE, and in the word beach it is the E and the A. The next word is tree, and unfortunately It doesn't follow our rule in that it's at the end of a word and it's not Y or EY, because it's the most common E sound. It is E together, making the E tree. And those consonant clusters at the beginning are really difficult to hear when we're spelling. We have to be really careful with how many letters there are in those words. Happy is the next word. Happy. And this one does follow our rules. So in this word, it is just the Y at the end of the word. Happy. So the Y makes the E sound at the end of happy. Green is next. It's the most common E sound. It's the E and the E. These is the next one. And this one is the easiest one to spot, but it's also one of the most uncommon E sounds. Easiest one to spot because it's got two splats and they're separated by another letter. Therefore, it is a split digraph and there will be another sound that we hear after it. In this case, the E, S. The S is the sound that we hear after the E. So this is E, but split up to split digraph in these. And then B is next, as in I want to be a rock star. B just has one letter at the end. It just has an E, in the same way as other little words like be, me, he, she, we. They all just have an E at the end of them. Chief is next, and it gives us the chance to talk about the rule. So sometimes EI, sometimes IE, and the rule to remember is I before E except after C. So if there is a C before it individually, then it will be EI, otherwise it's generally IE. So in chief, there is a C, but it's part of a ch. So ch, and then the E is IE, and then the F. Donkey is next. Now it's at the end of the word, but you can see that there's more than one letter there. So which combination of letters would work for that one? Yep, absolutely. It's the E and the Y together. And sometimes that it does make most sense for it to be that. Sometimes it is more than one letter. Receipt is next. Now remembering that rule, I before E except after C. It's after the C, therefore it is EI and the E comes first. Receipt. Now that's a really tricky word and it has a silent P in it that we don't hear. But it's also one of those words that loads of grown-ups can't spell. So if you remember I before E except after C, receipt becomes a little bit easier. We still have to remember the silent P. And then the last one on that page is teach. It is in the middle and it's not the most common one. So it's the E and the A. Brilliant. Okay. Can we give Elephant a hand by sorting the words by grapheme? So at the top of each section are the various different graphemes, the various different ways of making the E sound. And at the bottom, there are a selection of words that we need to sort. So we'll start on the top line and I'll read them for you. We have be, delete, she, sheep, asleep, tiny, greet, meet, me, baby, and peach. Have a little look at all of those words and see whether or not you can work out which ones need to go in which column. We'll do it where we look for all of the EE ones first, and then we'll do the EA ones, and we'll go on and on. So if we're looking for the EE ones, remember that EE generally comes in the middle of the words. So which ones can you see that have EE? They are all in the middle too. Absolutely. Sheep, asleep, and greet. EA is next. These ones also come in the middle of the word. So let's have a look and see what we've got there. Yep, there are just the two. There's peach, like the fruit, a peach, and meat, as in animal product, like meat that some people or some animals might eat. To meet somebody, as in how do you do, is actually EE as the grapheme in the middle. So that's how we would know the difference between the two types of meat. Y is next for our E sound, and Y was the one that came at the end. So there are two words there. We've got the word baby, we've got the word tiny. So always worth remembering that if it's an E at the end of a word, it is most likely to be a Y, if not an EY, but rarely one of the others. Although not always, because the English language is a tricky old thing. Okay, the split digraph E is next. Now this one was complicated, and it's also super rare. So we don't have lots of split digraph E's, but they do exist in some words. Now, a split digraph is where a digraph is a group of two letters that go together to make one sound. So EE, EA. In E, they go together to make the E sound. And in the split digraph, the E and the E aren't together. They are split apart by another sound, by another letter. In this case, they are split up by a T, because there's only one word there, and it is the word delete. 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 So we can hear that after, and so the E and the E go separate, and the T comes and pushes them apart from each other. It splits them up to make the split digraph. But split digraph E is super rare. And then there are only 3 words left, and there's only 1 column left. It is E by itself, and E by itself tends to come at the end of short words like be, me, she, he, we. Those common exception words that have 1 letter, or in the case of she, a digraph before them. So hopefully we can use those things to help us. So the next challenge is to do a little bit of writing. So we've used the spelling for reading and we've sorted, and now let's have a look and see if we can use those little hints and tricks to help us with a little bit of writing. Now you'll obviously need something to write with and something to write on, so pause the video, go and find them and come back and join us. Okay, did you find them? There are multiple ways that you can go about doing this. You can turn the screen away, or you could turn the screen off so you can just hear me, and you could have a go at writing absolutely everything that I say. Some of it will have E words in, and other bits obviously will be fillers in between. That would be a weird sentence if every word had E in it. Or you can have the screen up and you will see that the words that aren't E words are written on the screen. So you could still write all of it, but you could use the screen to help you with the other words, and you could just write the E words without the help, or you could just write the E words in a list. Any approach is fine. You could also come back to it and you could add that in at a later date. So you could do the list today and then you could watch again and you could do it where you write the whole sentence, or you could create your own sentences. That's harder, but you could use the words that we used in previous challenges and see whether you could come up with some sentences around those. That would be a great idea. With the writing that we're going to do now, you'll see that each of the E words has stars. So there's the right number of stars for the right number of letters, which should be useful when it comes to working out how to spell it. I will read through the whole passage a couple of times. I will stop at the E words and I will give you time to write them. And then we will go through it with it up on the screen so that I can see it and you can see it, and we can have a look at which graphemes were needed for the different words. It's all about a trip to the beach this week because beach has that E sound in it. So when we went to the seaside, there was a donkey on the beach. He was happy eating hay, and the tiny children received rides with glee. A couple of tricky words at the end, but that's okay, we'll talk about them. So when we went to the seaside, we is the first word. When we went to the, so we is the first word. And then seaside is the next. So seaside. So when we went to the seaside, there was a donkey. There was a donkey. So donkey is the next E word. There was a donkey on the beach. Beach is the next E word. He was happy eating. Oh, there's 3 there. He, happy, and eating. Eat-ing. So he was happy eating hay, and the tiny is an E word. The tiny children received. Now that's a big old word, but you can absolutely do it. Remember the rule, I before E, except after C. Received. The S is a K, not a S. It's a C, not an S. So the children received, they got, rides with glee. They were happy about it. Glee. That's a nice word. Okay, let's have a look at it with the words up. And if you needed to go back or you needed to pause or I was just too quick, then all of those things are absolutely fine. Here's the answer. So warning, if you're not ready for them, pause now. Okay, so when we, little word, only 2 letters, it's E by itself. When we went to the seaside is E-A in the middle of the word. When we went to the seaside, there was a donkey. It was always going to be Y or E-Y at the end. And if you look at the word donkey without the E in it, it just doesn't look right. E-Y, donkey. Also, the word key itself is E-Y, so you could use that to help you too. There was a donkey on the beach. We talked about the word beach already. E-A in the middle of the word beach. He, I've not highlighted it, but he is one of those words. It has E by itself, H-E. He was happy. E, Y by itself. Eating, eating. E-A. Hay on the tiny. Again, that's a Y. No, he wasn't eating it on. He was eating and the tiny. Y. Children received. Now, I gave this away by saying I before E except after C, but it was E-I. So in the word received, this isn't S at all. It's C. And therefore, it had to be E-I. It's a useful rule to remember. And again, lots of adults struggle with it as a word, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't have a go and challenge ourselves. So the tiny children received, they got rides with glee. It was the only E that we hadn't done. It was an E and an E. Absolutely cracking job today. Well done. There were some tricky bits in there, but you smashed it. Have a great day. Hi. So in the story that I read this week, Mrs. Large just wanted 5 minutes peace from her children. So I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to look at time. In this video, we are going to look at telling the time from o'clock all the way through to past. So we're going to learn how to tell the time for all the in-between bits. You will probably want something to write with, something to write on. If you've got a clock face, so like a watch or a clock that you can use to refer to, then that might be useful, but you certainly don't need it. We're going to build a clock face together and talk about that, and then we will do some practical work looking at the hands and what the different bits mean, and I'll make sure that I give you plenty of opportunity to practice and have a go. Before we do anything else, let's go and build a clock. Okay, so I have my clock puzzle here, and I put the number 12 piece down already, and then I've started with 12 because when we do o'clock, it's o'clock to the top, so the 12 is the one that is at the top of the clock, so that's the one that it made most sense to start with. And then there are 12 sections to the clock, and each one of those sections is worth 5 minutes. So that's going to be really helpful to us today. Each one of these sections of the clock that we're putting down is worth 5 minutes. So we can use counting in fives to help us. We'll practice that in a minute. But the numbers that are actually on the clock are more for the hours. For the minutes, each one is worth 5. So there's the 2 hands that go inside the middle of the clock. The big one is the speedy minute hand, and the little one is the slow tortoise hour hand. This one is the one that shows us the minutes, and the smaller one is the one that shows us the hour. So the minute hand will go all the way around the clock every hour, whereas the hour hand will go all the way around the clock every 12 hours. So every hour it only moves one section. So I said it would be really useful. Each of these sections is 5. So it would be really useful to be able to count in 5s, but we only need to do it from the top to the bottom. So let's start here, and we'll come round to here. This one here is o'clock, so we don't need to worry about that. But then we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Let's go again. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Now, this would mean that if the big hand was pointing down here, it would be 30 minutes past 1. Now, in this case, it is past the 1 because it is in between 1 and 2. It's gone past the 1. And while it is indeed 30 minutes past, and we might say that, and if we showed that on a digital clock, it would say 1.30. When we're reading off a clock face like this, we tend to say that this is half past. So if it's down to the bottom, we tend to say that this is half past. The same as if it's at the top, technically this would be, if we were doing it on a digital clock, it would be 1:00, it would be 1 o'clock. We don't say that it's 1 with no minutes, we do say it's 1 o'clock. And the only other one that is interesting for that reason is this one, because this is 1/4 of the way around the clock. So rather than saying that it is 1:15, 5, 10, 15, we would say that on a digital clock, but we would say that this is 1/4 So if we're going round, we have o'clock, and then we have 5 past, 10 past, 1/4 past, or 15 minutes past is fine, but 1/4 past. So 5, 10, 1/4 past, 20 past, 25 past, and half past. Each section is worth 5 minutes. So let's go and have a look on a different clock face and see if we can have a practice and work out how that goes together. Welcome back. So when we looked at the puzzle, we looked at each of the sections of the clock being worth 5 minutes, and for now we're just going to focus on the sections from 12 through to 6. We talked about the fact that this as a time is o'clock. Although if we were to write it digitally, if we were to write it on a digital clock where you only see numbers, then that time that is currently on the clock would look like that. It would be 8 and then no minutes. So it does exist as a time, but it's not what we would say. We would say that it was an o'clock time. And then if the minute hand is pointing all the way to the bottom, the hour hand will be in between because it's moving on its way. It's halfway in between the two. It's halfway in between the two, so it's half past. And here we're looking at which one it's gone past already. Remember, it's always going this way round, so I can stop my finger here and say, oh, it's gone past 7, but it hasn't gone past the 8 yet. So this is 7:30. So there's o'clock, there's 7:30, and then there was one more, which is this one, where it was pointing at the 3. And again, if we were looking, so my clock there shows this time. If we were looking at it on a digital clock, then it would be this, and we would absolutely say that that was 7:15. But if we're reading it off the clock face, we tend not to. We tend to say that it's 7:15 because it's gone a quarter of the way around the clock. So o'clock, 7:15, 7:30, and that's the minute hand that will be there. All the others, we do use our counting in 5s. So it is as simple as here. If it was at the top, it would be 7 o'clock, but it's gone one section past, which is 5 minutes. So it's gone 7:05. This one, look, has gone 2 sections past. So if we're counting in 5s, 5:10 past 9. We know that if it's on the 3, then it will be 7:15. This one, look, has gone 4. So we're going to count in 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 20 past 12. And then this one's gone 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes past 2. Now, the only difficulty with this is that, to start with, while you get your head around it, it's fine for the hour hand to be pointing at the hour that you're talking about. But obviously, over time, as you get more confident with it, that hour hand should be moving a little bit too. So that hour hand won't be pointing right in the middle of the number 2 section when it's 25 past. It will be nearly in between the 2 and the 3 because it's nearly 7:30. So we just have to remember that the hour hand does move as well, and that when it is anywhere between here and here will be 2, and then 2:30, and then down here is 3 o'clock. So we're going to worry about the other half of the clock on a different day. We're just focusing on the o'clock to 7:30 for today. So let's have a go. If you have a piece of paper, now my suggestion for this would be that you draw a clock in pen if you have it, and then that you do the hands in pencil lightly, and then you can rub them out, and then you will only have to draw it once. Otherwise, you could draw lots of them. It's not a problem. If you are lucky enough to be able to make something where you can manipulate the hands, I mean, you could do it on a piece of paper where you just draw the numbers nice and big, and then if you had like a teaspoon and a big spoon, or if you had like 2 sticks that were different sizes, you could use those as hands and you could practice putting them on. Anything would work. Or you can just shout at me and tell me where you think the hands would be, and we'll check to see whether or not you're right. If you are drawing a clock, then the safest way to draw the clock so that you get the numbers in the right place is to start with your circle. 12, remember that's o'clock. 6, remember that's 7:30. 3, remember that's 7:15. And then 9 opposite. And then you can fill in the gaps. And then that way you'll have evenly spaced numbers. And that just makes it much easier when you come to actually drawing your hands on the clock. And then a dot in the very middle, because that is where both of the hands will start from. We don't need to worry about a really speedy hand because that doesn't really matter. What does matter are the big long minute hand and the slow hour hand. So let's start with 1 o'clock and 1 half-past time, and then we'll work on the others in between. So let's start with 8 o'clock. I'm going to draw it this time. 8 o'clock. Remember, it's the long hand that is the minutes, and that goes o'clock to the top. So 8 o'clock, o'clock to the top, hour hand pointing to the 8. Nice. Okay, let's go for 7:30. So when you're doing that, remember that the 7:30, the big hand will point down to the 6 to the bottom. The big hand is the minute hand, and then the hour hand will be in between the hour that we say and the next one. Remember which way around it moves. So in this case, I said 7:30, so it will be in between 7 and 8. So it's in between the 7 and the 8 because it's heading that way round. If you can do o'clock and you can do 7:30, you can do all the other ones that come in between. Let's start with 15:15. So 15:15 is always going to be the other one that we started with. 15:15 is 3. It's halfway between the 12 and the 6. Okay, it's gone a quarter of the way round. And if we're being really technical, then the hour hand will be closer to the 7 than it will the 8 because it's only a quarter of the way round. So 7:15. Still, it's the one that it's gone past. What about 11:15? You're right, big hand to the 3, little hand just past 11. What about 10:05? Remember, each section is worth 5 minutes. So 5:05 will be number 1 section. You're absolutely right. So 5 minutes, shown with my minute hand, my long one, and 10 o'clock, the hours shown with my hour hand. So 5:10. Okay, let's stick with 5:05 and let's do 4:05. Yeah, you can be super whizzy because you only have to move the hour hand. It's only the 4 that changes. 5:04, 1 section past 4. Well done. Okay, what about 20:06? 20:06. You need to count in 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20. That will tell you what number your minute hand needs to go to. And then because it's past 6 and it's gone just past, it's nearly at the halfway mark. So 20:00 is 4 because 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, 10:09. 10:09. 5, 10. So what number does it need to go to? Exactly, it needs to go to the number 2. Minute hand to the number 2. Hour hand pointing at the 9 and pretty much at the 9. Okay, 25:01. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So the minute hand points to the 5, and then because it's nearly 7:30, the hour hand is nearly in between the 1 and the 2. My goodness, incredible job. Let's do 6 more. 6 more. Either you can draw it or you can show it me on a clock face, but let's do 6 more. Let's start with 3:05. 3:05. Remember, you're counting in 5s. 3:05. Incredible. 7 o'clock. O'clock to the top. 10:15. That's a trickier one, but remember where it went to. If we were writing it on a digital clock, it would be 15. It would be 10:15. 10:15. Well done. 7:10. 7:10. Well done. 10. 10. So 10:30, always the number 6. In between the 10 and the 11, it's gone past the 10. Well done. And one last one, 12. 12. It's going past the 12. It's nearly pushing into that 1. And because it's nearly half past, it's nearly halfway in between. What an incredible job you have done from o'clock, 5 past, 10 past, quarter past, 20 past, 25 past, and half past. Give yourselves a pat on the back. You are incredible. Have a great day. Hi, so today's session we are going to do a bit of exercise as an experiment. If you want to join in, then you'll need to make sure that you've got something that you can move in, and you'll need to make sure that you've got enough room to do some basic exercises. We're not doing anything that you'll need anything extra for. We're not doing anything super complicated. And if you want to join in with the entire experiment and you want to record it, then you will need something to write with and something to write on. But other than that, you don't really need anything. I am going to use my watch because one of the things that I'm going to track is my heart rate. You can use my heart rate, that's absolutely fine. You can still consider your heart rate based on how it feels without having a numerical value, so that's absolutely fine. An awful lot of what we do today will be more about acknowledging how things feel rather than numbers and data. So my question is, if we are thinking about keeping our bodies healthy, including our minds and bodies healthy, then is there a best way to go about it? Does all exercise have the same impact on my body? That's my scientific question that I'm going to try and answer. Does all exercise have the same impact on my body, including my mind? That's quite important. I thought we could pick maybe 6 different exercises and we could look at the different ways that our body feels once we've done them. Now, we could also expand this experiment and we could do it with anything else that we love. For the basis of an experiment, we're going to keep it simple. So if you've got pen and paper, if you go into track it, then you'll want to have a column of the activity, and then I'm going to have a column for my heart rate, but you could just have a how it feels, so how my body feels. How that will look is literally just 3 columns down the page. The activity, I'm going to put my heart rate in there at the end, and then how it feels, and I'm just going to start at the top and then work my way down. So in terms of an experiment, it's a super simple, super basic one, but it's a good way of recording data. If you can think of a better way of recording your data, then of course that's absolutely fine. But the question that we were trying to answer was, does all exercise have the same impact on our bodies? So I don't need lots of other fields. I'm going to have quite a big bit there about how it feels. And the only reason that I am going to record it and keep it there is as evidence. And then it allows me to go back. So when I'm making a conclusion, and a conclusion is where we draw together everything that we've learned and we come up with an idea of what we think at the end to try and answer that question. And when I want to come up with that conclusion, I need to make sure that it is as balanced and as fair as it can be. And that would be difficult for me to do if I hadn't recorded the things, because I would just remember the one that I did last, or maybe the one that I enjoyed most. Or so I'm going to try and be as objective as I can. So I'm going to try and be as truthful about the way that my body feels, because that's what's important here. Let's start with a really super simple exercise. We're going to do some star jumps. So I'm going to write that onto my chart here. And the way that this will work is that we will do each exercise for 1 whole minute, which doesn't sound like a long time, but trust me, it will feel like a while, especially for some of the exercises. So I'm going to lay that there so that I don't lose it, and also so it's not in the way and I don't slip over on it. We're going to do each exercise for 1 minute, and then we will stop, we will reflect, we will think about how our body feels, and we will also give our body time to recover before starting the next one. So you need enough room to be able to put your arms all the way out and your legs all the way out, and we're going to do that in a jump. So make sure you've got enough room to do that, and I'll meet you in a minute. Okay, so we're going to do a full minute of star jumps first, so that means arms and legs out wide at the same time. I can't get the camera far enough away that I can show you my arms and my legs because I'm quite tall. We're going to go for a whole minute, so keep going all the time. Try not to stop, and then at the end we will stop and we will relax and we will have a think about how it made our body feel. If you're ready, then let's go. A whole minute of doing star jumps, so you can make sure that your arms and your legs are going out nice and wide. You could count. Sometimes when I used to teach in a school, we used to use this as a counting opportunity, and we would count in 5s as we were jumping like stars. So you could always use it as an opportunity to practice something else at the same time, or you can just jump. But remember that this is just for the basis of our experiment. We are just trying to find out what the impact of doing various different exercises is on our body. So you've got about 10 seconds left. You're doing a super job. Well done. Last little push. 3, 2, 1, and stop. Whew. Okay, right. I'm going to press the little button on here that tells me what my heart rate is. And I want you to have a think about how your body is feeling. So you can hear that I sound a little bit out of breath. So my body is trying to draw in more oxygen because my body needs oxygen to make my muscles work. That's where it gets its energy from. Right, okay. My heart rate for star jumps was 146 beats per minute. So I've written that bit in. And then in terms of how it feels, I'm definitely feeling like I'm having to breathe more. So heavier breathing. I guess my muscles were definitely working. I'm definitely feeling a little bit warmer. I think that would definitely, if we did like lots of different exercises that were as aerobic as that, then it would definitely make us warm up quite quickly. I don't think that really necessarily impacted how I felt at all, so my brain or my emotional side, but maybe that's just because we didn't do it for very long. Let's see whether or not any of the others do. Let's go for some sit-ups next. So I'm going to write sit-ups in here. I will change the camera angle and I will meet you. You need a space where you can lie all the way down because that's the biggest that you'll be. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, right, are you ready for a minute's worth of sit-ups? So for this exercise, if we're not sure, this is one where we start by lying down. So we lie down flat on the floor, either with our feet on the floor and our knees bent, or we can have our legs, feet together and our legs out like a butterfly. And then we tap above our head, and then we use our tummy muscles to sit up and we tap our toes. Now, it is a difficult exercise. So the aim is to use our tummy muscles, to use all of our core to get us to sit up. If that's super difficult and that's a real challenge, then you could do a rock and roll instead. So you could use your legs and they go up to the sky, and then you lean backwards and you come forwards, and you still have to keep your whole body tight, but your legs will be the momentum that you need to
actually perform the motion of sitting up. Okay, so we're going to do a 4 minute, and we are looking for changing heart rate, and we are also thinking about how that makes our body feel. So does it make any particular part of our body work harder? Does it get us out of breath? Does it make us feel warmer? Does it make us feel happier? What do we think? Right, are you ready? Let's go. So reach behind and then touch your toes. Reach behind and touch your toes. That's it. What a lovely start. Now, you might find it easy. It might be something that you can do really well. It might be something that actually is a bit of a challenge for you, and that's fine. But one thing that you could do if you decided to take on a little bit more exercise and wanted to do some of these things as part of your daily routine is you could do it for a minute, and you could count how many you can do in a minute, and then you could practice and practice and practice, and then maybe in like a month's time you could do it again and see how many you could do in a month. And I bet if you practice, you would be able to do more. Whew, that's a whole minute. Now, I have no idea how many I did because I was too busy talking to you guys. But I pressed the little button on my watch, so hopefully that will tell me my heart rate. I feel like it's going to be lower than it was for the star jumps. I'm less out of breath than I was for the star jumps. Yeah, definitely 102. So I can feel my body. I'm a bit under the weather at the minute, so I don't feel great. So my body needs more oxygen anyway to help me feel better. But I can definitely feel that I am a bit out of breath, but certainly not as much. So I'm going to write a bit out of breath rather than what I wrote before, which was that it was heavier breathing. Yeah, I do definitely feel warm, and I can feel that is my tummy muscles. So my tummy muscles feel tight, which is a good thing because it means that I was working those muscles, which is exactly what I was trying to do. So that's absolutely fine. But yeah, I can feel that in just my tummy muscles. Since we're already down on the floor, let's go for a minute of stretching. So I'm going to put that on there. Stretching is one of those things that is super important. There are types of exercise that involve stretching, like yoga or Pilates, and you can find kids yoga. There are YouTube videos that you can find, so you could follow somebody. But for me, stretching is just as important as doing it in a class like that. So let's just do a little bit of stretching. So to start with, let's have one leg in and let's reach down. So I've clocked the time. I'm going to do a full minute's worth of stretching. So I'm touching my toes, but you just need to reach down as far as you can. So if you can only reach down as far as your knee and bend down there, then that's fine. And you'll feel a stretch in the back of your leg, like just behind your knee, in the muscles that are there, you will feel a stretch there. And possibly in your lower back, but only if it's tight, and you're not old like me, so it's probably not. Right, let's swap over. Tuck this one in and lean down and reach this one. That's a really really lovely stretch for our legs, and we'll potentially do another one for our legs in a minute too. But let's do an arm stretch first. So can you put your arm behind you, and then you can rest your hand on the elbow and just hold it gently, and you'll feel the stretch down here. I do feel like stretching is very calming. It does make me slow down a little bit. Maybe that's a good thing. Then let's swap. So put the other hand at the back and then press this one down. And then let's put our arms across our body. So put one arm across our body and then bring the other arm up and give it a little hug. breathing is definitely slowing. I can feel that already. Right, okay. Let's have a look at what that heart rate is. I reckon it's definitely going to be lower than it was when we were doing the other exercises. But I wonder how much lower. Oh, okay, 91. It's quite a lot lower. I feel much calmer. I don't feel out of breath. Now, I do still feel warm, but I guess that could be because we did the other exercises too. Maybe. Maybe stretching is something that still makes us feel warm, but I definitely feel much, much calmer inside my head. Let's just try one more. Let's go the other extreme and let's try running on the spot. Okay, so we decided that running would be that last exercise that we would try and we would see how it impacted our body. Now, I'm going to run on the spot. If you want to run around, then that's absolutely fine. You can do that. Maybe make a little prediction. How do you think it will impact your body? And remember that we are running for the whole minute. So do you think that it will have a greater impact than some of the other things we've done? I don't know. Let's find out. 3, 2, 1. Run, 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 run. So I'm going to run on the spot here. But you could run around, or you could run like up and down. It's completely up to you, as long as wherever you are running it is safe and you cannot hurt yourself or anybody else. So we always have to make sure that we are safe when we are exercising. We've done about half the time already. Can you keep it up? I'm using my arms as well as my legs, even though I'm running on the spot, because I know that if I was outside running, I do like running, but when I'm outside running, I definitely use my arms to help me with my momentum. So I'm doing that while I'm doing running on the spot as well, so that I can get the truest reflection of how it makes me feel. I think if I was to run for longer, this would be great for my head. I can feel my head clearing, and I'm focusing on my running and my arms and my legs. Oh, stop. What do you notice already? Yep, that breathing is back, isn't it? That breathing is elevated. Woo, okay. I'm going to add my heart rate and change the camera angle, and then we'll have a look and we'll see if we can draw a conclusion about whether or not all exercise impacts us in the same way. Whew, okay, I have updated my little grid. It was super simple in terms of tracking an experiment, but it still counts as results. For me, I found that the one that impacted my heart rate the least, so my heart rate is the amount of times my heart beats per minute. And so that will link to things like how hard my heart is having to work to pump oxygenated, so blood full of oxygen, round my body, because all of my body, both my organs, so my brain, my heart, my lungs, my liver, my intestines, my stomach, all of them require oxygen to work. But my muscles also need oxygen to work as well. When I'm exercising, I have to breathe heavier or quicker so that I get more oxygen into my body, and my heart beats faster so that it can get it round my body quicker, more effectively. For me, my heart rate was the slowest when we were stretching. It was only 91, which is still quite high, but we had just been doing some other exercises, so it would probably be lower if all I was doing was stretching. But it is still an elevated heart rate, so it is still good for me. I was calm. I felt calm. I felt focused. I was still warm. It was quite a nice way to move my body. But it definitely didn't have the same impact for me as the running on the spot, where my heart rate was 166 beats per minute. That's a lot. My breathing was heavy. I definitely felt myself getting warm very quick. And for me, I was really focused on my running. So I was really focused on my arms and my legs and how it felt And so I think that would be great for me, for my brain, because I was so focused on that I wasn't focused on anything else. So if I'd had a bit of a bad day, or if I was feeling a bit glum, then maybe I could have a little run, and that might help me to feel a bit better, because I could just focus on the running. And sometimes I wear headphones and listen to music, and so I then just focus on the running, and I've got some nice music in the background as well. Sometimes your head is a busy old place, and that's okay. We did some sit-ups, and some sit-ups, my heart rate was 146, so my heart rate was high, and I was definitely breathing heavier. I definitely felt warmer. I don't think I could do half an hour's worth of star jumps, but I think maybe as like a little routine, so lots of different things, so maybe some star jumps, some sit-ups, some burpees, maybe like that would be a really good way of getting my heart to beat faster and to be healthy. That would be like a good way of moving my body. It was definitely aerobic. It was definitely making my lungs work, and therefore the rest of my body work. So I do think that was good for my body, but I definitely couldn't do it for a long period of time. And the same with the sit-ups. My heart rate was 102 beats per minute with the sit-ups, but after a minute my tummy was starting to feel sore, so I don't think I could do that one for a long time either. But again, maybe it would work really well in a little circuit. In conclusion, my question was, do all types of exercise affect the body in the same way? And the basic answer is no. Different types of exercise are different for us, but they're all good. Whether that is that it helps us to clear our head and to feel calm, whether it is that it is calming and it slows us down, which we need. Sometimes before bedtime that's useful if it's difficult to get to sleep, or whether it's that it gets our bodies pumping, and then that will release happy hormones, endorphins in our body, and that will make us feel good. So that would be a good thing too. So all of these things are good in different ways, but they're not the same. Exercise isn't a one size fits all. And then the other thing that we did sort of touch on at the beginning of the video, but I said wasn't the focus today, was enjoyment. We should enjoy moving our bodies, however we choose to move them. If we love going running, then running is great for us. If we hate running, it's probably not so brilliant for us. Maybe we would prefer to go for a walk, or to play a team sport. Maybe we would prefer to play a game with other people that involves running around. That would be absolutely fine. There are loads of ways that we can move our body. Maybe see if you can try a new way of moving your body this week and see whether or not you enjoy it. And think about the impact it's having on your body. You did a great job today. There were some tough exercises there. Well done. Have the brilliant rest of your day.
Hello Angel students, how are you today? I would like to talk to you about self-love and the importance of loving yourself and understanding exactly what it means to love yourself and how you can practice loving yourself. I'm sure you find it very easy to say, I love my mum, I love my dad, I love my family, my siblings, but do you find it just as easy to say, I absolutely love myself? You are you for a reason. You are unique, you are special, there is only one you, and nobody can do the things you do in quite the way that you do them. And you have something truly special to offer this world that only you can. You fill a space in this world that only you can fill, and this world absolutely needs you to love yourself and love the position that you are here to fill. Loving yourself and being true to yourself means there is no comparison, because there is none like you. There is only you, and you are perfect just as you are. So what are some things you love about yourself? It could be your eyes, your hair, the way you're extra friendly. It could be how brilliant and smart you are. What are some things that you love about you? What are some things that you do so well at times that you give yourself a high five, you can give yourself a pat on the back for? Because remember, there is only one you, and only you can do things in the way that you do. The world needs you to show up as your best, and the best way to do that is to practice loving yourself. As easy as it is for you to tell others you love them or feel that love towards them, it should be just as easy for you to tell yourself and feel that towards yourself. Our differences and the things that make us who we are what makes us truly special. Sometimes we may look at somebody else, they might have something, they may look a certain way, and we may compare ourselves to them and wish we had what they had, looked the way they do, or whatever it may be. But instead of thinking that that person is any more special than you, remember, you have so many things that other people don't have that maybe they wish they had too. But when you love yourself, you are very, very grateful for every single part of you, from up here on your head to right down there to the tips of your toes. So never think that anyone is any more special than you. Remember, as I said, you are perfect just the way you are. You have your own special light and you deserve to shine it bright. You deserve for everybody to see your light. And most people that shine bright love themselves greatly. They practice the art of loving themselves. They practice the art of knowing that they are perfect just the way that they are. They know that they're unique and special. So think about the things that you love and admire about yourself the most. And now think about the things that you love and admire about your family and friends. And in doing so, you can flip that around and think about all of the things that your friends and family love about you. Would you like to know some things that I love about myself? Well, I'm going to share them with you nearer the end, and maybe we can make a little list together of the things that we love about ourselves. So before we get into what we love about ourselves, and before I share what I love about myself with you, or some of them anyway, not everything, but I'll share a few with you. Before we get into that, I want to ask, have you ever heard of a game called hide and seek? Of course you have, I know you have. You've probably played it many a time. But for those of you who maybe don't, quickly, the game of hide and seek is where you play with a group of people. One particular person will be the seeker. That's the person who has to find everybody else, and everybody else has to go and hide, and they have a certain amount of time to do that before the seeker starts looking for them. Sometimes that's what self-love can be like. Sometimes you may have to seek what it is you love about yourself. Sometimes you might have to go and find it. You might have to look deep within and ask yourself that question. What do I love about myself? What do I really admire about myself? What do I like about myself? How can I practice loving those things more and finding more things to love about myself? Sometimes you have to search for the special, great, amazing and brilliant things, but I guarantee if you seek, you will find. At times, someone may say something to you that you don't particularly like. It may have not been very nice, and it definitely was probably not true. But when you practice self-love and you know exactly what you like and what you love about yourself, it helps you to know exactly who you are. And in knowing who you are, it doesn't matter what other people say. It doesn't matter if someone says something that's not particularly kind, because you know who you are, you love who you are, and so it won't even matter. It won't be a problem. In your mind, you'll be able to say, that person just doesn't know me very well. That's all, because you love yourself, and you know what you love about yourself, and you know why, and that is what matters. I'll tell you a little secret. Someone told me once that they didn't like my voice. But because I didn't have a problem with my voice, and I didn't believe there was anything wrong with my voice, in fact I knew there was nothing wrong with my voice, it didn't matter, because it wasn't true. There was nothing wrong with my voice. I would love you to try a quick exercise with me, and as always, can we sit nice and tall, head up, shoulders back, and if you feel comfortable, close your eyes. If you do not feel comfortable closing your eyes, that's absolutely fine, but keeping your head up, look down. Do not put your head down, keep your head nice and straight, but look down. and you can focus on whatever is there. Now, before I ask you the question, I want you to be very clear that the first thing that you think of is the right one, okay? Trusting yourself is part of loving yourself. So I'm going to ask you again, straighten up, shoulders back, head up, looking down, or eyes closed, whichever one you're most comfortable with. What do you love about yourself? The first thing that came to mind, that is one of the things, or if more than one came up at once, those are the things that you love about yourself. And I would like you to remember that and remind yourself of that. Remind yourself, I love myself because. I love myself because. And eventually it will become something that you don't even have to remind yourself of because you know it. Another thing that can help to strengthen this practice is to give those that you love around you compliments. Tell them what you like about them. Tell them what you love about them. Some, you will find, in response, will tell you what they love about you. At the very least, they will show you gratitude by thanking you for such kind words. But I promise, the more that you seek, you will definitely find lots of things to love about yourself. We did say that at the end, I was going to share some things that I love about myself. So let's get into that. I'm funny. I know maybe my lessons are not funny, but I am funny and I love to laugh. I love that about myself. I love having a good laugh. I love funny things, and laughter is medicine. Laughter is very good for you. The more you can laugh and the more you can find joy and smile, that is also good for your health. I love my hair. I love my hair whether it's curly or straight or braided or twisted. I love my hair. And the last one for now that I will share with you is I love how I am and who I am as a friend. I class myself as a very good friend, and because of that I have some super special friends that I love as well, and they have amazing qualities and they love themselves too. Now, Angel students, isn't it lovely to be loved, to feel loved by others, feel embraced, to feel heard, to feel seen, to feel understood, and to have people be there for us and love us. But the most important person to be loved by is you. So practice that today. Use the hide and seek method to seek out those bits of you that might be hiding that you love about yourself. And as I bring this lesson to a close, Angel students, I would like you to repeat after me. You ready? All right. I am enough. I am loved. I am unique. I am special. I am smart. Amazing. Because you are. Thank you so much, Angel students. Until next time, have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, follow me. Let's do the 3 breathing exercise first to start. 2 foot wide, keep your foot point straight. Foot going down, head going up. Arms straight, fingers straight. Turn your hands till you feel stretching, open up whole body meridians. Breathing in, collecting all the good energy into your body. Breathing out, release the tension from your body. Imagine you see your belly button touch your back. 2 more time, breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose. One more time. Breathing in. And breathing out. Good. So today we're going to practice some balance and stance, yeah? So let's do a quick exercise for the joint first. 1 foot wide. Yeah. Warm up for the joints are one of the most important. So make sure you don't injure yourself when you do exercise. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, good. Hands on your knee, half your knees circulation. All the way down, stretch your back. 2, 3, change. 1, 2, 3, change. 1, 2, 3. Keep your foot point straight. Relax your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep your elbow up, hands reach out far as you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One hand higher, one hand lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Slightly bend your knees. Follow your elbow, look back. 1. Breathing out when you look back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep your arms straight, relax your shoulders. 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shoulders down, head up. Do you feel your neck muscle stretch? 1. And you feel the neck muscle stretching, that's good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And rolling your shoulders, full circle. Shoulders go forward, up, back, all the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, relax your back 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. And hands touch shoulder. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now let's practice the balance training. Slightly bend your knees. Keep your left hand on your left knee and right hand on your left ankle. Hold there 10 seconds. 1, breathing in and breathing out. 2, your breathing. 8, 9, 10. If you feel too easy, you can try to close your eyes, yeah? Change. This time, keep your right hand on your right knee and keep your left hand on your right ankle. Focus on your breathing. 1, breathing in and breathing out. Like a standing meditation on one leg. 2, long and thin breathing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, well done. Let's do first Kung Fu stance. Marble, 3.5 foot wide. Keep your foot point straight. Slightly bend your knees. Push your knee out. Keep your back straight. Breathing in, look forward. Breathing out on your body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, very good. Let's practice the marble stance 10 times. You can keep your face on your waist if you want to. 1, bend your knees and stand up. 2, stand up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well done. So earlier we practiced the balance. Now we're going to practice balance with the kick. Keep your face on your waist. Left leg in the front. Keep your right knee up. Kick your right leg. 1. So when you kick finish, bend your knees. Yeah, you start here, you finish here. Yeah? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Change leg, exactly same. Left knee up, left leg kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So we did a balance, kick, and the Kung Fu stance, yeah? Now we're going to practice, keep them together. So basically, same technique. Face on your waist, knee, balance. 2, kick. 3, Kung Fu stance. Bend your knees. Yeah? You and step forward. Right side 10 times. 1, right knee up, right leg kick, right leg forward, bend your knees, marble stance. Yeah. Oh. 1, 2, good. Let's practice. Few more time. 1, 2. Again. 1, 2. 2 more time. 1, 2. 1 more time. 1, kick, 2. Okay. Exactly same. Kick your left leg. Facing your waist. Left knee up. Kick. 1. Left leg forward. Marble. Both leg bends. 5 times. 1. 2. 2. 3. 1. 2. 4. 1. 2. 5. 1. 2. In the beginning, you don't have to use too much power. Mainly practice the technique. So we're gonna do one more. Remember we did a punch before. So this time we're gonna add balance, kick, stance with the punch. So facing your waist. Right knee up, right leg kick. When your right leg forward, right hand punch. Yeah. So right leg forward, right hand punch, and look where you punch. Okay, let's do 5 times. So 1, right knee up, right leg forward, and right hand punch. Look where you punch. 2, 1, 2. Yeah. 3, 1. 4. 5. Good. Exactly the same, but change side. This time left knee, the balance, left leg kick. Left leg forward and punch your left hands. Look where you punch. You don't punch here, look at the ceiling. Yeah? Look, follow your knuckles to look forward. Okay, 5 times. 1, punch. 2, punch. 3, punch. 4, punch. Last one. 5. Okay. Inhale. And exhale. Let's practice last breathing exercise. Keep your foot point straight. Breathing in as help your body recovering after exercise. Breathing out, get rid of tension from your body. Make your body stronger and recovering faster. Good for your concentration. Well done everyone. Let's finish it today.
Please like and subscribe so you can get more and more lessons.